Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Alien Bacon. Today, we're going to be taking a creepy turn. We're going to be going to the spooky, the scary, the creepy pastas. And this is going to be like one of the most popular creepy pastas of all time. So a lot of you probably know it.
Of all time.
A lot of you probably heard of it.
Of all time. This is one of the best
Oh, it's of all time?
It's huge.
Okay. Number one.
Everyone knows this creepypasta. Everyone loves it.
I know of it. Like, I know bits and pieces, but I've definitely never heard the whole thing. Or have you? Have you heard the whole thing before?
You know what's weird? I think I read this like 15 years ago. But
like when it first came out?
Yeah, but I don't remember anything about it. I just like the name sounds familiar. So I'm sure like when we start going through it, things will start feeling like familiar to me, but it's been so long.
Yeah.
This is like a classic. This is one of the classics. It's called the Russian Sleep Experiment.
Is it based on a true story? Like, is it got any real merit to it?
I have no idea. I doubt it.
Oh, okay. I doubt. All right.
But everybody knows that nothing is spookier than Russia. So.
That's true. That's very true, actually. Yeah.
You thought Vladimir Putin was bad? Just wait. You thought Stalin was bad? Just wait.
Just wait. It gets so much worse.
Russian researchers in the late 1940s kept 5 people awake for 15 days using an experimental gas-based stimulant. Oh God. That sounds awful. They were kept in a sealed environment to carefully monitor their oxygen intake, so the gas didn't kill them, since it was toxic in high concentrations. This was before closed-circuit cameras, so they had only microphones and 5-inch thick glass porthole-sized windows in the chamber to monitor them. The chamber was stocked with books and cots to sleep on, but no bedding. Wow, that sucks.
Wow, that sucks. You know what? This sounds like, is this Markiplier's new movie or show, or Markiplier's new show? Isn't he making a new show about like the dangers of non-sleep or not being able to sleep and how it fucks with you and stuff?
Yeah, it's based on this, I guess.
I mean, this already seems pretty like, this seems like something that would happen, to be honest. Like with all the shit that I've heard about, like with the 1940s and shit. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think there was a theory going around after this was put out there that this was real, and then it was debunked. But as well as running water, a toilet, and enough dried food to last all 5 for over a month, because there's 5 people.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The test subjects were political prisoners deemed enemies of the state during World War II.
Okay, now that sounds even more realistic.
Yeah, so
I actually watched a video recently that had like the same shit. It was like, where they were like torturing prisoners of war in a similar fashion. So like, damn, this seems pretty realistic.
I feel like that's how the best stories are made, when they're kind of based in reality a little bit, so they feel so real, you know? Everything was fine for the first 5 days. The subjects hardly complained, having been promised falsely that they would be freed if they submitted to the test and did not sleep for 30 days. Holy shit.
Wow.
That sounds horrible. Their conversations and activities were monitored, and it was noted that they continued to talk about increasingly traumatic incidents in their past. The general tone of their conversations took on a darker aspect after the 4-day mark.
They all just started venting?
Yeah, I guess they started talking about their ex-girlfriends and shit.
Man, when I was younger, my parents, they were not nice to me. This just went on a whole tangent. It's the 4-day mark that brought that out. They had full-on therapy sessions in there.
Yeah. My older brother wouldn't let me play the Xbox. It was horrible.
Yeah, the 1940s, man, the Xbox.
That's when it was released, right?
They wouldn't let me play with the dominoes. He was player 1 on the dominoes. I wanted to be player 1.
After 5 days, they started to complain about the circumstances and events that led them to where they were, and started to demonstrate severe paranoia. They stopped talking to each other and began alternately whispering into the microphones and one-way mirrored portholes. Oddly, they all seemed to think they could win the trust of the experiments by turning over their comrades, the other subjects in captivity, with them. At first, the researchers suspected this was an effect of the gas itself. So they started to like snitch on each other.
That's interesting.
This guy's a fucking dick.
What was the snitching? They're already prisoners of war.
I know.
What was the snitch?
Yeah, what were they talking about?
Hey, I caught him drinking piss the other day. All right, this guy is weird. Get him out of here. Like,
You know, what could they possibly say? But
yeah, at this point.
after 9 days, the first of them started screaming. He ran the length of the chamber repeatedly.
I'm sorry. Just after 9 days, they just all started screaming. It was quiet for 9 days, but on the 9th day, they couldn't handle it anymore.
This is enough. I've had enough. He ran the length of the chamber repeatedly, yelling at the top of his lungs for 3 hours straight.
Jesus.
At which point, he continued attempting to scream, but was only able to produce occasional squeaks.
I just imagine just running back and forth, just screaming over and over. Like with his arms up in the air, just screaming, running back and forth for 3 hours straight. Oh boy.
He's not having a good time. And I'm sure it'll only get better. They'll get released, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the worst of this, right?
Yeah.
That's probably all it goes to, yeah.
And then they were let go, and that's the end. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you guys for watching.
The researchers postulated that he had physically torn his vocal cords. The most surprising thing about this behavior was how the other captives reacted to it, or rather, didn't react to it. They continued whispering into the microphones until the second of the captives started to scream. The two non-screaming captives took the books apart, smeared page after page with their own feces, and pasted them calmly over the gas portholes. The screaming...
Calmly? What do you mean calmly?
It's just a little bit of shit.
Just put a little poop on that. I was gonna smear a little poop on this piece of paper, smear it on the window.
A little bit of shit never hurt nobody.
A little bit of poop never hurt nobody, right?
The screaming promptly stopped. So did the whispering in the microphone, so I guess they stopped whispering into them.
Oh, damn.
After 3 more days passed, the researchers checked the microphones hourly to make sure they were working, since they thought it impossible that no sound could be occurring with 5 people inside. The oxygen consumption in the chamber indicated that all 5 must still be alive. In fact, it was the amount of oxygen 5 people would consume at a very heavy level of strenuous exercise. They're fucking.
Yep. That's what it is. After, dude, they were plugging the porthole with poop paper so they could get it on, so they can boink. I mean, I get it. Like when you're in there for 10 days or what are we at? Like 15 days, no sleep?
Yep.
They're probably ready.
Very silently too, by the way.
Yeah, very quietly banging each other. So quiet, couldn't even pick it up on the mics.
The quietest gay orgy you've ever witnessed.
Oh man, a speakeasy orgy. Sorry.
On the morning of the 14th day, the researchers did something they said they would not do to get a reaction from the captives. They used the intercom inside the chamber, hoping to provoke any response from the people they were afraid they were either dead or vegetables. They announced, "We are opening the chamber to test the microphones. Step away from the door and lie flat on the floor, or you will be shot. Compliance will earn one of you your immediate freedom." To their surprise, they heard a calm voice respond in a single phrase. "We no longer want to be freed." They love each other now, dude.
Dude, they're good. Like, they're good. What do you mean?
They're having a great time.
They're having a great time in there, bro. What are you talking about? Just let them chill. They're obviously chilling.
We just need each other, you know? Just some gay bonding.
Just some poop paper and gay sex. Like, what else would you want? I mean, come on.
The 9th day in particular was pretty bad, you know?
Yeah, yeah. That was the day.
But on the 10th day, they all realized they were gay. So.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Debate broke out among the researchers and the military forces funding the research. Unable to provoke any more response, using the intercom, it was finally decided to open the chamber at midnight on the 15th day. The chamber was flushed of the stimulant gas and filled with fresh air. And immediately, voices from the microphones began to object. 3 different voices began begging, as if pleading for the life of loved ones, to turn the gas back on. The chamber was opened and soldiers were sent in to retrieve the test subjects. They began to scream louder than ever, and so did the soldiers when they saw what was inside. Oh God, they're homophobes.
Yeah, that's what it was. Oh no, gay sex!
Oh my God! 4 of the 5 subjects were still alive, although no one could rightly call the state of that any of them in life. The food rations past day 5 had not been so much as touched. There were chunks of meat from the dead test subject's thighs and chest stuffed into the drain in the center of the chamber, blocking it and allowing 4 inches of water to accumulate on the floor.
They were waffle stomping their flesh? Ew.
Yeah. Precisely how much of the water on the floor was actually blood was never determined. All 4 surviving test subjects also had large portions of muscle and skin torn away from their bodies. The destruction of flesh and exposed bone on their fingertips indicated that the wounds were inflicted by hand.
Ew.
Not with teeth, as the researchers initially thought. Closer examination of the position and angles of the wounds indicated that most, if not all of them, were self-inflicted. So like they're just ripping their bodies apart for some reason.
Yeah, it seems like a normal thing to do.
So the gas that they put in the chamber is like making them like...
Well, it's the no sleep, because the gas was making them not sleep.
Oh, so they're just ripping their bodies apart because they couldn't sleep? They're going crazy?
Yeah, I guess. Hallucinations after 15 days.
Man, I can't wait to see that show that Markiplier's in.
God, if there ain't bodies getting ripped apart on Markiplier's show, I will watch it. If the 15-day mark, if they're not having gay orgy sex and then ripping each other apart, smearing poop paper on the walls, yeah, I don't want to watch it. You better deliver, Markiplier.
And screaming down the hallways.
Yeah, for 3 hours straight.
God, I can't wait. That sounds like an amazing show. Markiplier, get on it.
Sign me up.
The abdominal organs below the ribcage of all 4 test subjects had been removed, while the heart, lungs, and diaphragm remained in place. The skin and most of the muscles attached to the ribs had been ripped off, exposing the lungs through the ribcage. All the blood vessels and organs remained intact, but had been taken out and laid on the floor, fanning out around the eviscerated but still living bodies of the subjects. Oh God, that's gross.
Yeah. Ew.
The digestive tract of all 4 could be seen to be working, digesting food. Wow, so they could literally see themselves, digesting.
Creating poop, if you will. You know, at first it started to seem realistic, but now it's just straight up horror movie stuff.
Yeah, like, I was cool with the gay orgy stuff, but how are they still alive?
Yeah, with their organs out? I don't know, man. I don't know. You're starting to throw me a bit.
Were they like comparing them? Like, here, my lungs are better than your lungs.
Yeah. Hey, yo, you see how long my large intestine is? I bet yours isn't even close, bro. What? You want to bet? You want to bet? Get out a ruler right now. Just rips out all of his organs.
Bro, your liver sucks.
Wait, genuine question. How did they do this all silently?
I don't know, that's like the creepy part, right? They're like silently like ripping their bodies apart.
That takes some skill.
It quickly became apparent that what they were digesting was their own flesh that they had ripped off and eaten over the course of days. Wow. Yummy. They call it long pork in the industry. Human meat, by the way.
Oh, okay.
For all of you that don't know, apparently people taste like pork.
I have heard that before.
Don't ask me how I know.
I've heard it. You know, I'm not from experience.
Just to make that clear.
Yeah. In case you guys were wondering.
Most of the soldiers were Russian special operatives at the facility, but still, many refused to return to the chamber to remove the test subjects. The subjects themselves continued to scream to be left in the chamber and begged and demanded that the gas be turned back on. lest they fall asleep. Oh, so they like fear sleep.
Oh yeah, I guess that makes sense.
To everyone's surprise, the test subjects put up a fierce fight in the process of being removed from the chamber.
Wait, so you're saying bro can't move, got his organs hanging out, and he's over here fighting off big beefy Russian soldiers? Was he like tying his organs around the dude's throat? It's like, get off of me! Like what?
I'm currently digesting myself, but I can still use this as a rope.
Yeah, bro's barely even got flesh on his body, and he's got this, man. Damn, that's impressive. I'm honestly impressed more than anything.
I know. One of the Russian soldiers died from having his throat ripped out, and another and another was gravely injured by having his testicles ripped off.
Yo! What the fuck? That's just uncalled for, man. That's just uncalled for.
How'd they do that? They rip his pants down first?
No, they went through the clothes.
Oh, yeah. They
just ripped straight through it.
They also ripped off an artery in his leg severed by one of the subject's teeth. Another 5 of the soldiers lost their lives, if you count the ones that committed suicide in the weeks following the incident.
It always turns to that. Mm-hmm. When it comes to creepypastas, someone's committing suicide after they witness something.
Yep. In the struggle, one of the 4 living subjects had his spleen ruptured and bled out almost immediately. The medical researchers attempted to sedate him, but this proved impossible. He was injected with more than 10 times the human dose of a morphine derivative and still fought like a cornered animal, breaking the ribs and arm of one doctor.
Damn, these guys are strong.
I know.
The fuck?
Just ripping each other apart like nothing. His heart was seen to beat for a full 2 minutes after he had bled out, to the point there was more air in his vascular system than blood. Even after it stopped, he continued to scream and flail for another 3 minutes, struggling to attack anyone in reach, and just repeating the word more over and over, weaker and weaker, until he finally fell silent.
It's just Kylo Ren. More! More!
That's so funny. Oh my god. That's so good. As he's slowly dying. More. The surviving 3 test subjects were heavily restrained and moved to a medical facility. The 2 with intact vocal cords continuously begging for the gas, demanding to be kept awake. The most injured of the 3 was taken to the only surgical operating room that the facility had. In the process of preparing the subject to have his organs placed back within his body, it was found that he was effectively immune to the sedative that they had given him to prepare him for the surgery. He fought furiously against his restraints when the anesthetic gas was brought out to put him under. He managed to tear most of the way through a 4-inch wide leather strap on one wrist, even through the weight of a 200-pound soldier holding that wrist. It took only a little more anesthetic than normal to put him under, and the instant his eyelids fluttered and closed, his heart stopped. Oh, so they'll die if they go to sleep.
Yeah, that's like the fear they had.
I mean, I don't know if I'd fear death of all my lungs if all of my organs were hanging out.
Why would you want to stick around?
Yeah, you think you'd embrace death at that point.
You're watching yourself make poop, like you're eating your own flesh. You're like, damn, you know what? I like this.
This ain't bad. I want to stick around.
You know, I've been through worse, man. I mean, come on. I had a girl cheat on me before. Like, I've been through worse, man. Come on.
Going to work on Mondays is pretty tough, so I've been through it.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I mean, this sucks, but have you guys seen a Monday? Like, have you guys been through Mondays? Come on, who's with me?
In the autopsy of the test subject that died on the operating table, it was found that his blood had tripled the normal level of oxygen. The muscles that were still attached to his skeleton were badly torn, and he had broken 9 bones in his struggle to not be subdued. Most of them were from the force his own muscles had exerted on them. Damn, so these people are like superhuman.
Yeah, they went beyond their limits, plus ultra, you know?
Plus ultra, Super Saiyan 9.
Yes.
The second survivor had been the first of the group of 5 to start screaming. His vocal cords destroyed. He was unable to beg or object to surgery. and he only reacted by shaking his head violently in disapproval when the anesthetic gas was brought near him. He shook his head yes when someone suggested, reluctantly, that they should try the surgery without anesthetic, and did not react for the entire 6-hour procedure of replacing his abdominal organs and attempting to cover them with what remained of his skin.
What?
Good Lord.
Oh my God.
The surgeon presiding stated repeatedly that it should not be medically possible for the patient to still be alive. That's what I'm saying.
Nah.
At least someone said it.
at least someone finally said it in the story.
I know, like, why are they all going along with this? Like,
yeah, this is pretty normal.
one terrified nurse assisting the surgery stated that she had seen the patient's mouth curl into a smile several times whenever his eyes met hers. Ooh.
Oh, he's got the Riz. Yo, yeah, sure, he's got his organs out and all of his skin and stuff is gone, but damn, he's got the Riz though.
One of my organs still work.
yo, this dick is still here, bro. No one's eating that. I may have eaten my arms, a little bit of my legs, but yo, this dick's still here.
When the surgery ended, the subject looked at the surgeon and began to wheeze loudly, attempting to talk while struggling. Assuming this must be something of drastic importance, the surgeon had a pen and pad fetched so the patient could write his message. It was simple: keep cutting. Ooh, he's liking it.
Damn, he's into that freaky shit.
Yes, keep going. I love it.
Or
The other two test subjects were given the same surgery, both without anesthetic as well, although they had to be injected with a paralytic for the duration of the operation. The surgeon found it impossible to perform the operation while the patients laughed continuously. Once paralyzed, the subjects could only follow the attending researchers with their eyes. The paralytic cleared their system in an abnormally short period of time, and they were soon trying to escape their bonds. The moment they could speak, they were again asking for the stimulant gas. The researchers tried asking why they had injured themselves, why they had ripped out their own guts, and why they wanted to be given the gas again. Only one response was given: I must remain awake.
yeah, but why would you want to stay awake and go through all that torture instead of just like dying already?
I know, it's weird. It's like they fear death because they're like enjoying getting mutilated so much. Like they want.
Maybe they're into it.
Yeah, they want to keep being cut and injured for some reason.
Yeah.
Like all these guys have turned into like weird sadists for some reason.
Yeah.
All three subjects' restraints were reinforced and they were placed back into the chamber, awaiting determination as to what should be done with them. The researchers, facing the wrath of their military benefactors for having failed the stated goals of their project, considered euthanizing the surviving subjects. The commanding officer, an ex-KGB, instead saw potential and wanted to see what would happen if they were put back on the gas. The researchers strongly objected, but were overruled. Let's just keep fucking with them. Let's see what's getting.
Yeah, that's basically what they're doing. You know what would be really funny? What if we just kept fucking with them?
In preparation for being sealed in the chamber again, the subjects were connected to the EEG monitor and had their restraints padded for long-term confinement. To everyone's surprise, all three stopped struggling the moment it was let slip that they were going back on the gas. It was obvious that at this point, all three were putting up a great struggle to stay awake. One of the subjects that could speak was humming loudly and continuously. The mute subject was straining his legs against the leather bonds with all his might. First left, then right, then left again for something to focus on. The remaining subject was holding his pillow and blinking rapidly. Having been the first to be wired to the EEG machine, most of the researchers were monitoring his brainwaves in surprise. They were normal most of the time, but sometimes flatlined inexplicably. It looked as if he were repeatedly suffering brain death before returning to normal. As they focused on paper scrolling out of the brainwave monitor, only one nurse saw the man's eyes slip shut at the same moment his head hit the pillow. His brainwaves immediately changed to that of deep sleep, then flatlined for the last time as his heart simultaneously stopped. I mean, it's not...
No, he could have been saved. You should have given him the gas. Give him that galaxy gas.
The only remaining subject that could speak started screaming to be sealed in now. His brainwaves showed the same flat lines as the one who had just died from falling asleep. The commander gave the order to seal the chamber with both subjects inside, as well as 3 researchers. One of the named 3 immediately drew his gun and shot the commander point blank between the eyes, then turned the gun on the mute subject and blew his brains out as well.
Damn.
It's time to end this, he says.
Yeah, he's like, all right, I've had enough of this shit.
He pointed his gun at the remaining subject, still restrained to a bed as the remaining members of the medical and research team fled the room. I won't be locked in here with these things, not with you, he screamed at the man strapped to the table. What are you? He demanded. I must know. The subject smiled. Have you forgotten so easily? The subject asked. We are you. We are the madness that lurks within you all, begging to be free, at every moment in your deepest animal mind. We are what you hide from in your beds every night. We are what you sedate into silence and paralysis when you go to the nocturnal haven where we cannot tread.
Yo, how is he talking though?
I know. Like, you'd assume that his lungs and his organs would be failing, and he'd be like, I don't know.
I just how it's set up. Like, I just imagine him. Have you forgotten so easily? We are you who are the madness that lurks within you all. Like an evil, like cheesy villain.
Yeah, they should have. They should have added the descriptor that he like was wheezing it out barely or something.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Or I just imagine the Joker music coming up.
Yeah.
Have you forgotten so easily? We are you. We're the madness that lurks within you all. It's just a Joker speech.
Yeah. The researcher paused, then aimed at the subject's heart and fired. The EEG flatlined as the subject weakly choked out, so nearly free.
I just can't help but just hear a cartoonishly voice. I know. This is going on.
I know. So nearly free.
Lets out like an eerie laugh at the end.
So yeah, I definitely think I've read this before a long time ago, but
I could see how like a child reading this and then having that picture at the end would be like, you'd have nightmares for weeks.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
yeah.
Oh my God, that's real. And then it has to do with sleep as well. So they're like, I have to go to sleep or I'm going to turn out like that thing.
I know. I mean, overall, it was really well written. Like,
yeah, I get why that's like one of the the top creepypasta. I feel like it has the best combination of creepypastas and the realism element to an extent.
Yeah.
The end's obviously not realistic at all.
Yeah.
But like the beginning's like, with the war in Russia, good combination of things that could very possibly happen.
Yeah, and I think
with like a sleep experiment or something.
Things like this have happened. That's the craziest part. I think this might be based on like a real like study on sleep. But obviously this is taking it to the extreme.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this has happened. It's just, people weren't smearing poop on the windows and ripping out their organs and shit. Very quietly ripping out their organs, mind you.
Man, this really makes me want to visit Russia. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems like a great place. Like, I would love to go to Russia.
I'm sure. You know what? I'm sure they would welcome you with open arms.
Because I bet this is normal in Russia. Like this is just every day there. This type of story.
Oh yeah, this is very, very common.
No wonder they have so many awful things in history.
Oh yeah, if you guys want us to cover any other creepypastas, leave in the comments below what your favorite one is.
Yes. We're gonna be alternating between like fictional and non-fictional just to mix things up, but under the umbrella of spooky, creepy, weird, that sort of thing. So yeah, like Aaron said, if you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments. And thank you so much for watching. We've been Alien Bacon.
See you guys next time.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.